first of all, any form of discrimination to me is utterly and completely unacceptable. It's the mere whisper or mention of it makes my blood curl. I have no interest in having any of that here in the city of Mississauga. As far as I'm concerned, we are the global example of what we could be. We have people from all around the entire globe right here in Mississauga. And to me, this is what we should be putting out as a beacon to say, if we can do it, everybody else can do it. And we know that there's issues that people have around the world, but for the love of God, we're all human beings. We have to be treating each other with respect. And so it's setting the example. It's going out and leading by example. And that's, to me, what leaders do, is you go out and you lead by example. And that's firmly what I'm a firm believer of. We had a motion out recently at council as well. And this was more in relation to what's happening in Gaza. And this is where there's opportunities. It was a motion that I know Councillor Parrish brought forward. I was the first to vote on it when it came in. And this is something that no matter what anybody looks at anything, is we're all human beings. People need to be treated with respect. And what's quite frankly happening in Gaza, and maybe I'm jumping the gun on some questions, but I'll tell you, just overall, I'm a firm believer that aid has to flow, peace has to come in, and it has to be done in a meaningful two-state solution. And that way, you need to have something that's got some longevity to it. And ceasefires are one thing. It's important. You don't want to see bloodshed. How can anybody see children of all races getting killed? It goes against the fiber of who we are as human beings. And so that's what I look at. And so that's why I'm a firm believer that, is Mississauga going to solve all the world's problems? We're not. But can we be that example, and can we advocate? Absolutely. And this is also where, my interactions with the provincial and federal governments, especially the federal governments, I don't have a party affiliation. So when people say, well, what can you do? Well, I can work with all people. And that's the job as mayor bringing forward, is somebody that's going to work with everybody. You check the partisanship at the door, and you just go in and say, you know what, we've got problems. And how do we come up with some solutions? And make sure that, and quite frankly, that all the communities that want to be a part of it, we have our diversity and equity and inclusion, committees, but make sure that they have what they need to be able to function, because I know it's had some rocky times in the not too distant past, and I know emotions are high. And rightfully so. When everybody sees what's happening right now, it's gut-wrenching. And if anybody thinks it's not, I don't know. I don't want to know the person, because it is gut-wrenching. And so that's really what I look at, is making sure that the right people are at the table. And then we also look at some others, and that was part of that motion, for example, the Interfaith Council Appeal and other groups. And this is where you see people coming around from all different faiths. And it's not uncommon to see when we get together, everybody's embracing each other, talking with each other, and again, being, as I mentioned, that beacon, what we should be around the globe. But this is what we're seeing in essentially some sort of banquet hall. And why should that not be put out to the world stage to say, look what's going on in Mississauga? And so there's a real opportunity here that we lead by example, and that's really what I want to take forward.
I appreciate that.
And